Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Anak-anak sekalian kelas 11 mata pelajaran sejarah peminatan. Jadi hari ini kita coba membahas ya mengenai materi dari bab ketiga, yaitu tentang Renaissance. Jadi apa itu Renaissance? Ya, jadi Renaissance ini adalah abad di mana orang-orang Eropa mulai menemukan jati dirinya, mulai menemukan akar-akar budayanya, ya. Kemudian mereka lebih berpikir untuk rasionalis ya dan realistis dengan berpegang teguh pada sesuatu yang ilmiah, sehingga mereka keluar dari sebuah doktrin atau dogma yang berbau agama yang diselewengkan pada waktu itu. Oke, baiklah, kita sebelum melangkah ke Renaissance secara jauh, jadi kita coba membahas sedikit mengenai abad ke-8. Jadi abad ke-8 itu adalah abad yang terjadi di saat orang-orang Eropa itu mengalami abad keterpurukan. Jadi kebanyakan orang Eropa, ya negara-negara di Eropa itu mengalami sebuah degradasi budaya ya, kemudian degradasi ilmu pengetahuan. Jadi mereka kehilangan sebuah akar kebudayaan mereka yang dulu pernah berjaya, yaitu budaya Romawi dan Yunani. Tapi terlepas daripada itu, justru ya yang dikatakan sebagai abad ke-8 bagi orang Eropa itu justru ketika dua dinasti besar ya, Kesultanan Islam, dinasti Kesultanan Turki Utsmania yang lebih ke menguasai Eropa bagian timur dan semenanjung Balkan ya, sekarang Yugoslavia, yang pecah sekarang ya menjadi beberapa negara. Kemudian dinasti Umayyah yang lebih ke Afrika bagian utara dan kemudian melakukan ekspansi ke wilayah Andalusia, yang sekarang mungkin lebih ke wilayah Spanyol. Justru ketika Eropa itu mengalami sebuah keterpurukan dalam berbagai hal, itu justru sebagai abad keemasan ya bagi orang-orang Islam. Nah, ini ada sebuah video yang menarik sebagai pengantar untuk nantinya, sebelum lebih lanjut kita bahas materi Renaissance itu sendiri ya. Ini sebagai gambaran aja. Jadi Islam itu justru berkembang ketika orang Eropa itu terpuruk. Jadi kalau disimpulkan sebenarnya Eropa secara keseluruhan, kegelapan itu bagi siapa gitu loh ya, keemasan bagi siapa gitu ya. Jadi kurang lebihnya kekuasaan Islam juga pernah mewarnai bagaimana tumbuhnya ilmu pengetahuan di Eropa itu sendiri ya, karena pada waktu itu toleransi antar umat beragama juga bagus sekali gitu ya. Oke, ini ada sebuah video yang menarik, bisa kalian lihat. Nanti selanjutnya ada sebuah tugas ya di Google Classroom.
group of you a different era of history to research. And the question is, what impact did your era have on the modern world? So Sarah, your group has the ancient Greeks. Ravi, you've got the Romans. And Danny's group gets, yes, a bit of a challenge for you. You get the Middle Ages. Some even call it the Dark Ages. Boring. See how you get on.
Yes, miss.
So, Serene, yes, you get the Renaissance.
Is that the librarian?
I guess so.
How are the Dark Ages going to have anything to do with us?
Excuse me. Sorry to bother you.
What do you want?
We need to find out what impact the Dark Ages had on the modern world.
Never was a period of history so poorly named. Don't touch. It's priceless. And I suppose someone's been filling your head with the usual nonsense, eh? 1,000 wasted years. A black hole in history, am I right?
Yeah, sort of.
You see, it's always the same. You assume it was all mud, disease, death and destruction, with marauding mobs of barbarians ripping down the good of former civilizations, burning and plundering as they went, nothing of any worth invented either, eh? Oh, no. Go on, be off you.
Sorry to bother you.
Come on, it's probably not worth it. Everyone knows that the Greeks and Romans invented everything anyway.
Oh, did they now? And you're sure about that, are you? You know, I might just have something for you. You seem to be up to the task. I suppose I could... Follow me. I've got just the book for you.
Where are we going?
I don't know.
Ask him.
Excuse me. Where are we going?
From darkness into light, my young friend. From ocean onto land, there are things you should know. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, I know I left it round here somewhere. Ah, here it is. Now, take a look. If you dare.
What's going on?
Welcome to the Dark Ages, or as it should be known, the Golden Ages.
Who are you?
I am Al-Jazari, engineer and ingenious inventor.
I thought you said this was the Dark Ages. It doesn't look very... dark.
That's because it's all a matter of perspective, my soon-to-be illuminated friend. Of course, there are parts of the world that weren't dark at all, but in a civilization that stretched from Spain to China, the golden rays of discovery and invention shone over everything.
What civilization?
The Muslim civilization, my young friend. Through scholars and scientists of various faiths, some of the most important discoveries known to man were made at this time. Discoveries that drew on knowledge of the ancients, but have more connections with your modern world than you could possibly ever imagine.
Like what?
Well, all sorts of things.
I've got to get a picture of this.
I knew it was a good idea.
Who are you?
Allow me to introduce Ibn al-Haytham, a great scientist whose ideas led to the invention of the camera.
You invented the camera.
I laid the foundations for modern cameras by explaining how our eyes work. I found a way of projecting an image onto another surface through a small hole in a dark room, later called camera obscura.
Think of all the things that evolved from this discovery. Cameras, cinema, all share the same principle.
Cool.
Look out below!
Who's that?
That's my good friend, Abbas ibn Farnas, who gazed up to the heavens, passionate in his belief that man could fly.
Whoa.
Indeed, he dared to dream about flying 1,000 years before the Wright brothers. Do you know you all take your jet-setting holidays for granted, so it only seems fair to remember Abbas ibn Farnas.
Stand by! I'm ready for takeoff!
You did forget one thing, though. The tail, useful for landing.
My back! Is there a doctor in the house?
Did someone call?
Ah, my old friend, why don't you introduce yourself to my young guests?
I am Abul Qasim al-Zahrawi. Many call me the father of surgery.
Did you actually do surgery back then?
Of course we did. In fact, many of the surgical tools that I invented are still used in your modern hospitals. Excuse me, a patient needs my attention. Scalpel?
I think I may need some stitches.
In that case, I'll use catgut.
Catgut?
From the gut of animals. Perfect for stitching up internal wounds. Your surgeons are still using it today. Sorry, mustache.
Who's she?
That's Maryam al-Astrolabi, one of the many brilliant women of her time. She made sophisticated astrolabes.
Astro what?
Astrolabes. They show the sky and the stars on a small flat plate you can hold in your hand. Think of them as ancient calculating or timekeeping devices. Today you have your watch, your compass, satellite navigation, helping people and explorers travel the world. Science at its brilliant best.
And all these things were developed during the Golden Ages.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There were thousands of other inventions covering all areas of life, and in the years that followed, their influence spread across the whole of medieval Europe. So you see, it wasn't so dark after all.
What about you?
Me?
What did you invent?
Well, I don't want to be big-headed, but I made some groundbreaking advances in engineering. I suppose my most significant discovery converted rotary motion into linear motion using a crank and connecting rod. It's essential in pumps and engines. In fact, I've no idea how the Industrial Revolution could have happened hundreds of years later without such a device. Not that I ever get the credit I deserve. But my crowning glory was my amazing time-telling machine. My legendary elephant clock.
It's a clock.
Yes. Dozens of components collected from different cultures around the world. Indian, Greek, Arabian, Egyptian, Chinese.
Wow. A United Nations clock. That is pretty cool.
Does it actually tell the time?
Wow, yes, of course. If it wasn't for me, thousands of people would be late for everything. Speaking of time, we better get you back. And remember, Spread the word. This was a golden age, and I've only shown you a tiny part of this wondrous time. There are countless other scientists and inventions directly connected to your modern world. You're just going to have to find out for yourselves.
No, wait! Whoa. Did you?
Yeah. That wasn't quite so boring.
Come on, we're gonna be late.
So, what have we learned? The Romans, the Greeks, the Renaissance, and the Industrial Revolution all have great relevance to us today. Where's Danny's group?
Just there, miss.
Ah, our intrepid Dark Ages group. You probably had a much harder time finding any connections with the modern world.
Actually, miss, that's not strictly true.